You still have time to jump over to the VIP backstage lounge at rippinrabbithole.com. If you stay tuned, folks, show starts soon. Late night highway, headlights chasing dreams. The rip on rabbit hole ain't as crazy as it seems. Ain't no polished lines to fire. We the people Wednesday. Speak loud, speak clear. Screech owls calling. Red's got your...
Rippin' Rabbit Hole is a sponsors do not condone. Views or opinions expressed by the community, callers, or guests are those of the individual speaking and do not represent the views or opinions of this site. Rippin' Common Sense content is intended for mature audiences only. Enjoy.
Late night highway, headlights chasing dreams. The rip on rabbit hole ain't as crazy as it seems. Ain't no polished lines, just hearts and fire. We the people Wednesday, shout what's real. Screech owls watching, red's got the wheel. Eyes wave in the static air, freedom's crackling everywhere. Every voice matters, every voice dares. Good 2026. I am Screech Owl Scott.
And I'm Red.
And we want to thank you, our co-host, for joining us right here on Rippin' New Developments. Subscribe button so that you jump on over to rippinrabbithole.com. Click on the 24/7 tab in the taskbar. Scroll down until you see the backstage. Click on the big red Enter Now button. Allow the permissives and join the fun. The backstage lounge is free and always will be. It's a great place to meet new friends and talk about anything that you want to. And we can speak from experience when we say that you will often find we the people deep into the early AM hours. That is rippinrabbithole. There are just a very few simple rules. Raise your hand when you have something to say, but most of all, have fun because this is a show for we the people. We made it, Red.
Yes, we did.
Barely,
but we made it.
But we're here. We're on the air. We are live for We the People Wednesday.
And what he means is we had to make a last minute, quick run to the town. Well, to Sheboygan. So I'm like, just as long as we're back in time for the show, and we made it.
And we made it. Yes, we did. And
Barely, but we made it.
Red, before we jump into tonight's show, I there's something I want to talk about, and I didn't mention this to you, so I'm kind of throwing it right at you. But you've been doing this Rise Jewelry thing.
Oh yeah.
And one of a fellow consultant.
Yep.
Had a tragic situation, folks, and you know that we've talked about this subject on our shows from time to time. The mental health in our nation and the problems in this business venture that she's doing. Father of three little boys. 3 little boys and a husband to his partner in life.
Yep.
And he took his own life this
last weekend.
And you know, they posted something, and I was going to read it, but I forget what she posted. But it was something that you don't always hear read.
No.
She talked about
they were in a hotel room because of what happened, and they're not allowed to go back into the residence until everything's cleaned up.
And then she talks about
how she might not even be able to go back into that bedroom.
Right, and these 3 little boys. Now we found out today that they found a different place to live.
The landlord that she rents from has a vacant place, and he is going to move her from her current place and into the new
So,
home.
so the family
she
won't,
doesn't have to.
family won't have to go back into that home where her husband and father tragically took his life
Mhm.
this week. But the reason I wanted to bring it up, folks, is we've talked about this over and over again. And if you see something, if you see talking to them and reaching out to them can stop a tragedy like this from happening. And folks, if you're listening to this show and you're feeling down tonight, remember you can always call 988.
Absolutely.
And
That's the
that is
national.
the National Suicide Hotline, and they will talk to you and they can direct you toward resources. Uh,
And remember that May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
that's my phone.
Yeah, it's a little close. But, we've been doing, not to, drag out the jewelry stuff, but we are doing currently storyline necklaces, which are based on the mental health awareness. And it just, I don't know, it was tragic to hear that he had taken his own life. And if he would have maybe read some of those stories, maybe it might have helped him a little. I don't know. I don't know them that well. So I just ask that you keep them in your prayers, and the especially those 3 little boys. And by all means, you don't know when you're walking on the street, when you're walking past somebody, what they're going through. Just give them a smile. A simple smile might brighten their day enough to change their mind on possibly taking their life.
Say hello
You
to
just
people.
never know.
Say hello to people that you encounter. Give them a smile, like Red said, and who knows? It could change a situation.
Absolutely.
But again, we're not going to drag that out. But it's a problem in our country. And 988. If you are sitting around listening tonight and you're feeling lonely and afraid of the future, whatever, call 988.
Absolutely.
And we'll leave it at that, Red.
Yes.
But again, and I will echo what Red said. Please hold this family in your prayers as they navigate very troubling and difficult waters ahead.
And thank you, Harry. He gave the praying hand, so thank you.
So we'll continue to scroll until we don't have to scroll it anymore. The letters, we're asking people to send their letters to Judge Johnson to request for leniency for Harry's sentencing that's coming up on June 2nd.
And a new trial.
And or a new trial.
I'm not saying or. I'm saying and.
There's a motion been filed for a new trial, and he should have. And they're being put in CCAP. We've read some of them, Red, that we were able to see. And they're amazing. They're heartfelt. They're amazing. And if this doesn't impact Judge Johnson as he weighs the sentencing phase of this trial,
and new trial,
then the man lacks a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
If he can't see the way that people feel about Harry Waite.
Yep.
So
the more letters, the better. Anyway,
all right.
On to the show. Sorry, we're just in a kind of goofy, giggly mood tonight, so I apologize.
That's a change for you, right?
I know. Red? It is a change.
That's good, though. I like that. Maybe you won't make faces at me for the entire show.
Yeah, I will.
So you can see from the graphics tonight, folks, it's almost summer. I mean, the official start of summer isn't until June, but the unofficial Memorial Day weekend, which is coming up, is kind of when we kick off summer here in Wisconsin. And I thought, it's not raining today.
Knock on wood.
We can't think of a better thing to do than to have a bonfire for us to all sit around, so you can look at the graphic and we can sit around the fire and talk about whatever it is we want to talk about, but what we want to start the conversation with. And we're kind of hoping that there's somebody in the backstage, and I'm not sure, I'm looking at names. Let's just welcome everybody who's back here. Red Catherine, Rippin' Rabbit, Studio B, looks like Wetzel's in the backstage, Flippin' Rippin' Rob, Nan, the People's Governor, Harry T-Rex, a man back here already.
I believe so.
And of course, is tuning in. So, folks, we talked about the state convention that was taking place, and I'm hopeful that there was somebody, and I don't know, I don't recognize any names of people that have been that.
Braden Meyer, running for Secretary of State, he jumped through all the hoops that was requested, and then when he went in for his interview, one of the questions that was asked was, what is your campaign plan to win? Well, nobody wants to give up their campaign plan to win. Otherwise, the other candidates that he's running against could use his platform. And I've talked to several different people running for office, and none of them would give up that part of their interview in the interview.
A definitive plan.
Yes.
Clearly,
you don't need to give up all your secrets.
You're not going to disclose that to someone.
But that's what apparently disqualified Braden Meyer from being able to speak at convention or get the party nomination.
Right.
So fast forward to
so that was a recap of what we talked about last week, because
right.
people were frustrated, and I think the general consensus of the group was that anybody who puts their name on a ballot should be allowed to speak at convention. That's kind of what we all believe.
And while you said that, put your name on a ballot, none of these candidates technically have gotten on a ballot yet, because the signatures aren't even due till June 1st.
The signature phase is not until June 1st, so we won't know until on the 1st or a day later maybe what candidates fulfilled the signature phase.
Yep. So I got two things. Catherine says Melissa went. So Melissa, I believe, is in the backstage, and Corey said they did allow him to speak. And we were going to get to that, so I do know that.
So that's the update. Jay Schrader and Braden were allowed to speak. The two of the three other Secretary of State candidates
would have, but apparently she left by the time they voted on this. Left
because now they spoke after the endorsements were revealed. So they had already, and my understanding, they had already endorsed Nate Polnow for Secretary of State when the other two were allowed to speak. Now, so just for clarification,
I see Catherine's got her microphone on. Go ahead, Catherine.
Sorry, that was a boo-boo.
Oh, okay, we'll forgive you for the boo-boos. We are sitting around a campfire, so those things can happen, Catherine. We get it. But so just for some clarification, in order for because of the way the rules are set up at convention, in order for Braden or anybody else who had not met that threshold as or the criteria.
And we know of the Secretary of State threshold. We don't know what the threshold was for any of the other positions, statewide positions. I'm assuming they were all the same, but I can't confirm that. Either way.
there are ways around it. If there are motions can be made from the floor to suspend the rules and allow other candidates to speak, which is what happened in Braden's case. So
yes, and Jay's
the
case.
county chair from Manitowoc County
made
a motion to allow Braden to speak, and
correct.
Before it went, my understanding is before it went to a second, Jay's home county also requested that he be able to speak, and then that motion was seconded by two counties. I'm told Wapaka County
and Langlade County.
And Lenny Bolts and Langlade County seconded that motion. And
Mr. Timothy Rantham has his mic on.
Oh.
If you would like to speak, go for it, Mr.
That was an accident too, but I would say that in reflection, the RPW tried to squelch the people, tried to orchestrate, tried to manipulate, and they got some pushback. They didn't really have a choice. They had to address the allowance factor, and really shouldn't have been any one person, even if, like in Braden's case, he met most of the criteria. It should have been everybody, Scott, to what you said as well. So you got to remember one thing, guys. They tried to obstruct they tried to manipulate. Ultimately, they did their endorsements, which push the people they prefer anyway. But they tried, and that's the problem with the party elites. They don't open up the doors for natural discussion in a natural process to elect candidates to serve people, and the people's voice should be the only thing that dictates the result. And this
Absolutely.
modification stuff behind the scenes, all crap, and it needs to end. It just needs to end. It's driving people away from the party. It's driving GOP members to the independent party. I think it's going to be a very interesting year.
You know, it's, I want to talk about something back in 2022. Now, I'm going to reference something from 2022. Now, it's campaign. So therefore, he wouldn't have met the criteria. Now, how does that work when back in 2022, I know another governor candidate that claimed that he was going to self-fund his campaign, but he got to speak at convention, didn't he? Mr. Tim Michaels?
Right. So I don't know, I think, and Tim Rampton can probably explain what the criteria was for amount of money that had to be raised and the number of donors. I don't know if Tim Michaels met that. He may have.
He got
Yeah.
the,
Yeah, it was 100,000 and 1,000 donors, and it can't be you. You have to be 1,000 separate people, if I recall. So, and I found out on the 15th of March, and I had like a week and a half, 10 days to get over the 100 grand, and I did it. So I did meet the criteria.
that made him ineligible not only to speak at convention, but he ultimately did, but he was not eligible for the endorsement either.
Right. And neither was Jay. So I mean,
correct.
Jay
or Cindy,
Jay
for that matter.
admittedly said, "I'm self-funding. I'm just going to travel the state, knock on doors, and do whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, he was not eligible for an endorsement by the party.
Correct.
Because of his decision to self-fund a campaign.
Right.
Which is
and all four candidates have not turned in their signatures from what I understand yet, so therefore not one of them is technically on the ballot.
It seems like the rules change, and Jay Schrader made a very valid point this week when he said, if the rules had been the current rules for speaking at convention had been in place in 2010 or 2008, 2010, I believe, is when Ron Johnson first ran.
Oh yeah.
Either 08 or 10. In any event, Jay Schrader said, had the current rules been in play back then, Senator Johnson, who's now serving his third term, I believe, fourth term, whatever it is, would not have been eligible to speak at convention.
Correct.
And this is a man who defeated a longtime Democrat senator in Russ Feingold.
Correct.
And has held that seat now for a couple additional terms. So under current rules, nobody at convention would. It's just, it's absurd to me.
And Tim, you mentioned they didn't tell you about those criterias until I believe you said 2 weeks prior. That's exactly what they did to Braden too. I don't know about Cindy or Jay.
To Jay, the criteria changed from 24 to 26 because he was able to speak in 22. He was able to speak in 22 apparently. I don't know. It's a mess. I do want to. If anybody's got any thoughts about the convention, if you want to share what your experience was at convention, if you don't,
Was Robin Boss there?
I'm sorry.
Was Robin Boss there?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Mr. Boss being there.
Melissa does have.
I didn't see him.
Microphone on, and that says Melissa. Go ahead, Melissa.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Melissa. Thanks for joining us on We the People Wednesday.
Sure. And I will tell you, I've never gone to one of these before, so take that with a grain of salt, my experience. I was the Secretary of State candidates to speak, and I think that they felt the tension in the room when they got to that section of the program.
You said there was.
I did not.
You said you could
Go
feel the
ahead.
tension in the room.
Yes. I think that they made the choice that they made just due to the atmosphere in the room was not positive of the decision to not allow the candidates to all speak.
Okay. And I was told that they were given 2 minutes to speak, and let's see, Nate was given 6 minutes to speak, along with an additional 3 minutes
A 3 minute
after
follow up after the endorsement.
after the
Correct.
endorsement. Okay.
Correct. But I will say that Nate, he had a lot of, in my opinion, unnecessary fluff added. He had a video that he played that I think, to me, it just looked like it counted against his time. So he had a video that he played, and then his kids came out and spoke. And then when he came out to speak, they ended up cutting his mic.
Okay.
Interesting.
And
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they started playing music and cut his mic right when he was going to start saying what he was going to do as Secretary of State. And then they gave him the nomination, and then he went up and spoke for the additional 3 minutes. But yes, they gave the other candidates who were still on scene 2 minutes to speak. And Braden knocked it out of the park.
That's what I
heard. That, and I did see Braden and Jay's address to the convention, and yeah.
I didn't see Jay, so I'll have to go back and find that one.
So Melissa, you were at the convention. I don't know if you were in the convention hall the entire time, but I do have a question for you, and I'm hopeful you can answer it. Do you know, did Washington County Executive Josh Showman, and former candidate for governor, did he speak at the convention?
Oh boy. You're asking me to remember this.
And here's the reason I ask. I saw some still pictures of him on stage near the podium wearing a Tom Tiffany baseball cap. And if he was allowed to speak, I have a real issue with that, because this is a man who was one of the first candidates in for the governor's race, and had been actively campaigning since,
well, I believe it was 14, 15 months. I could be wrong on how many months, but yeah.
But then he dropped out of the race or suspended his campaign. Mm-hmm. And my problem, if they let him speak, is that why are they giving any floor time to someone who's no longer a candidate when you're not going to allow these three other candidates for Secretary of State speak?
Right.
Quid pro quo.
And the same could be said. I don't know if David Barnum was allowed to speak. I know that Will Martin spoke at convention.
Yeah, was there anybody else that spoke for Lieutenant Governor?
Yes, they did let David Barnum and boy, I don't remember names very well,
Will
so
Martin.
Bear with me. And they did let, is it Will?
Will.
Mm-hmm.
They did let them both speak.
So this was your first convention?
Yes.
What were your thoughts about the convention?
What was that experience like for you? Is it something you will do next time around?
Yeah, it would be interesting to go. It was different. My county party did not speak about the convention very much prior to my attendance, and I didn't realize that there was anybody else from my county there until Saturday. Oh, wow. When we went into the big meeting hall. And I apologize if I'm not using the right terminology. And then that's when I found out that our vice chair and his wife were there. But so it was different.
So I'm not asking you exactly where you are from, but can you tell us what county?
Seconded then the motion for these other candidates to be
Yes.
able to speak.
Yes.
Well, good for your county on that one. And I know Joel was not at convention. I know that. I don't know who your vice chair is, but I'm glad to hear that they stepped up and put a little pressure on the state party to allow these people to speak. You know, I've heard a lot
So
of. Go ahead.
I would say the not only was the on the committee members, but also there were multiple people standing at every mic ready to voice their displeasure, do what needed to be done in order to allow the Secretary of State candidates to speak.
You know, I would, and I saw some people make, you know, and I will say I'm glad that they were allowed to speak.
Absolutely.
I just hope that state leadership can see how upset the people were, much like they were when they were calling for an endorsement in 22. I believe they wanted to endorse at convention,
And they
we the people stood up and said
no
we
endorsement.
don't want an endorsement prior to the primary,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they held back on that.
Yes, they did that
on that
year.
endorsement, and I just wish they would learn from these things, because that happened in 22. Now they came back in 26 and they endorsed.
Well, not to mention, I seen on the RPW Facebook page some big to do about him getting the endorsement, as in Nate. And I was reading some of the comments, and they were not sounding very happy that they gave an endorsement, because they're like, "What? I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for that. I didn't." And there were several of them. Oh, the people's governor has his
Oh,
hand up.
go ahead, people's governor.
I just want to clarify in 2022, they attempted the endorsement process and it was voted down for all of the constitutional office positions except for the treasurer, because at that time in 2022, it was just Orlando Owens. He was unopposed, so he got an endorsement, and then ultimately the party didn't help him anyway. So you can get an endorsement, but if you don't get any help, financial and otherwise, from the county or from the party, rather, it doesn't matter that much.
Right, and look at that. Tim talked us right into the break. Let's take a quick break, Red,
Okay.
and we'll come back, and we're going to open it up, let people talk about what they want to. But I do want to break for a break, Red. We already talked about Harry. Get the letters in, keep them coming in.
Absolutely.
we've
It's
got-
not too late. Get them in.
And watch the Facebook post, because I'm going to be adding to the Facebook post in the coming days. There's another address you can send some letters to
Yes.
that will be helpful to Harry's, to Mr. Forgot his name now, his attorney. Anyway, just watch the Facebook post,
Right.
but keep the letters coming, please, because they are impactful and they will make a difference. I'm confident of
I
that.
believe they will. The more the better, because in my opinion, the more letters that come in, the more that the judge cannot deny a more lenient sentence. Or I shouldn't even say or, it should say and he needs a new trial, because there was so much wrong with that first trial. It's not even funny, as so many constitutional rights were violated, in my opinion.
All right, Red, and we have to talk about the America 250 Best of Wisconsin tour that we embarked on already. We visited our Joe Buckney. Thank you, Harry T-Rex, for that one. Joe Buckney, great.
You know, we were gonna have our first stop coming up this Friday, but we technically had a little bit of a first stop Saturday when we were in my hometown. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that tomorrow night.
We're going to talk about that tomorrow night, but we plan on traveling Wisconsin this summer. So
Correct.
if you've got a little nugget that's hiding somewhere in your town, or you've got that big ball of thread, like Red likes to call it, maybe you've got the best burger or fish fry, the best pizza,
or Al Capone's Hideout,
let
because we're doing that one.
Let us know about it. Shoot us an email at screechowlscott@gmail.com, and this Friday,
Correct.
and the person who requested it actually requested that Harry Waite join us. So
And
we up on
right,
Friday.
right.
So watch for that one coming up. Maybe next week we'll talk about that.
Oh,
knows?
absolutely.
Right, Red?
Absolutely.
I think we probably will. So that's about it for the break, right, Red?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get back into the second half of the show.
Oh, one more thing. If you need the address for the judge, it is scrolling across the screen. But if you need to reach out to us to get the bulleted points, the PDF with the bulleted points and stuff, reach out to screechowlscott@gmail.com.
Or Harry's Army 2026 @gmail.com.
Correct. Otherwise, they are listed on Harry's Army Facebook. Let's see. X is Harry's Army 2026.
Set the record straight. So they were able to speak because account telling, despite not meeting the criteria.
Correct. And that is 100% complete crap.
And that speaks volumes to character and integrity when you have.
Michelle says, "Oh, so nice of him." Yeah, I agree, Michelle, and that is said with sarcasm. And Harry says that 37 county chairs voted in favor of them speaking. So therefore, Mr. Nate, we catch you in a lie.
And we need to. This is
'Cause I'm sick of it.
ridiculous. It's we can't let them. And this is the man who received the party endorsement.
Mm-hmm. And
And
now
2
he's going to
days
try to
and-
make
and
himself look like
two-
such a good
2
guy.
days later is out spewing this kind of garbage that he allowed them to speak because it was only fair. And this
Yep.
is what he's telling potential voters. And it's sickening to me.
I am so glad we did not go to that meeting because I would have blown. I would have my red hair would have
And
kicked
to
in.
any county chairs who are repeating that kind of rhetoric,
Absolutely.
please understand, because I'm told that, and I appreciate Barb
Mm-hmm.
in Calumet County. I do. I appreciate the effort, and their county
And
party.
as far as I know, Barb was there
their
at
county
convention.
their county party received an award. I mean, they're doing a lot of good in Calumet County, but I'm told that she also reiterated what Nate had said about the reason the other two candidates. So, let's get the story straight, and let's make sure the voters understand how that went down, and that it wasn't just good old Nate allowing these two to speak.
Exactly. Well, 3, but Cindy was gone. So I don't want to leave out Cindy, but she left. And I personally probably wouldn't even have gone because it's such a shit show. Sorry, but it is.
That's $20.
I'll pay the $20.
Shame on you, Red.
Oh, well.
So I don't know if anybody else has anything else they want to talk about tonight. One of the things that, and I'm sure that other people might have.
Well, the people's government ended up showing up.
I didn't hear, and I heard a number. I heard a number like 600 people, but it didn't look like 600 people to me.
Yeah. So.
But I didn't see an actual.
Catherine, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to tell you guys that earlier today, there was a post on the University of Wisconsin Whitewater College Republicans. And they posted, now that we've got our team, we're ready to win in November. Let's get to work. Tom Tiffany, Will Martin, Nate Paul now, John Lieber, and Eric Toney. So I posted, because you know how I am, but I posted a comment. I said, you don't have a team until after the voters speak at the primary.
They seem to think
you, and
they seem to think that we forget we have a primary yet.
They picked our team already in many cases, and
Yep.
And now they've endorsed a couple people that are actually have primary opponents.
Maybe
But-
we
but
should
we-
also remind them that none of them are technically even on the ballot yet.
So
Yeah.
what is the alternative? I mean, the alternative is we just don't endorse until after the primary, which would have, and I'm not sure what that endorsement. I mean, if you just endorse the winner of the primary, I guess that would be the
Well,
way to go.
Michelle says apparently the state convention is the new primary. Apparently, they
valid point,
spoke
I guess.
for all of us.
I guess we're all going to have to attend,
I
right?
ain't giving them a
Give-
red cent.
Give the state, the RPW, our money and go attend
No,
the convention.
If I'm not wrong, some states don't have their conventions until after their primaries. I think
Correct.
Wisconsin is one of the one of the few that do.
Right. Corey B, you have your hand raised.
So I've been half listening and half loading trailers because the auction is over. Yay. Well, pickup's almost over. Anyway, I have to say, and this, the RPW was requiring NDAs from their chairs. 35 chairs said no. 37 chairs voted to, agree to allow them to speak. So we got to give them props. I think there's a point where they're starting to see that we are having an effect on them. It's not going to be a light switch. You don't turn it on and turn it off. They had to comply because they were getting so much pushback about the NDAs and the non-endorsement. If that many counties were voting to let them speak, we are having infiltrating. Is it enough? Certainly not. But
That came from this convention. I just hope that they remember that from this convention. I just hope that they remember that moving forward, so that we don't have some of these same issues next time around. I hope that
well,
they
convention wise, hopefully they will pay attention
I think
and remember. But
think-
after the convention, that's all down the tubes.
I
But
think-
after the convention, that's all down the tubes. You got a couple county
Well,
parties
I
doing this
think
other stuff.
we need to put our foot on the gas. We've got to win. There was a difference made at this convention. That's all I'm getting at.
Well, at
There was a difference made at this convention. That's all I'm getting at.
convention, yes, I agree. But Catherine just even stated they've got their team, but yet we still haven't had our primary. So to me, that's having these county parties, and it's only one county party and the Republican Party or college students, however you worded it. However, how many other ones are out telling that we don't hear about?
I want to jump in real quick. So I got my mic on, Catherine.
absolutely.
I agree
Tim.
with Corey. I agree with Corey with the point she's trying to make. And tell me if I heard this right, Corey. There was momentum that was achieved where they tried to do something, it didn't work. They had to, don't let it go backwards from here. The
Correct.
next one,
Can't come up while we have our team, like Catherine suggested.
Right.
But there were some subtle things that happened that I think we can all agree that leadership felt the pressure of we the people, and they allowed some changes to take place. And let's hope that we can keep our foot on them a little bit and
And this is the time for us to hold the line. We gave them a standard. We drew a line. We need to hold that line. If we take a week from the convention and beat them up too badly, they're going to be like, we can't do anything to make them happy. So Tim, you're right. You understood my point and I appreciate that. So thank you. But no but there. I appreciate that. And I think I just wanted to make a point that we clearly have made a small win and we clearly need to celebrate that and put our foot on the gas. Don't allow them to take that away from us.
Well, I definitely agree with you on that one, and I hope that now there's enough, and maybe this other stuff, and not celebrating the wins, because there were some wins, and it may not have changed the outcome a great deal from what some of us wanted to see out of the convention, but they were wins nonetheless, and we do have to celebrate those, and we have to keep our foot on the throttle, and that's how we're going to fix it, I suppose, long term, is to,
Said I hope that they remember it for next convention.
well, and that's where we keep the foot on the throat.
Sure.
So we have like 10 minutes left, and if anybody's got any more convention talk they want to throw out there, please raise your hand. We can talk convention, but I also had to throw it out there because I don't understand it, and I've had this conversation with a couple people, and some people have given me different theories about what's happening. But does anybody have any thoughts on Congressman Massie losing his primary yesterday in Kentucky? I saw a comment from
RPW is still corrupt, and where'd it go? Didn't they vote on chairman, etc., at the convention? No, I don't believe that they did, because I seen somebody say something about, let's get through this cycle, and then we'll address it because his term or whatever is up in January, I believe it is. So no, I don't believe that they addressed it at this convention. I could be wrong.
No, I don't believe they did. I don't believe that there was.
Massie is a mixed bag, Harry says.
So does anybody have any thoughts on why President Trump has come out? I don't know enough about Congressman Massie to understand everything, and maybe that's part of my problem. But I know he's questioned some of the right things to question, and he's come under attack by President Trump, and I find it a little troubling heading into the midterms, and what are we getting in this guy? Because I've seen some reports that he refused, that there were 10 candidate debates scheduled, or that he refused to debate him on the issues at all. And I find that very troublesome when a candidate for a seat like that will not debate the issues and allow people to see them think on their feet.
And to me, that sounds more like that they're a little afraid of showing their incompetence.
Should have seen my debate with
Well, that was different.
Representative Ballwig. Holy crap! I was like,
because you were a Democrat at that time.
I was like a deer.
You were a fool.
I was like a deer in headlights. I showed how unprepared I was for the job during that debate, but I sat there and took it.
Yeah, exactly. You took it instead of just saying, "I think I'm going to bow out." Instead of an empty chair, you took it, and you tried.
I shrunk in that chair, though. I will tell you that, Red.
But
does anybody?
Yeah, exactly. That's the same thing.
Reasons I brought it up because I talked to him.
Yep.
He's very nice. He delivers a very nice stump speech. I mean, he's well prepared. It's very rehearsed.
Exactly.
And he's a good speaker.
It was rehearsed.
But I think what we want to see is these people think on their feet and answer questions that people in the audience are asking. And on at least 4 occasions now, we've had Kevin Hermaning and Jesse Evan.
Speaking of Kevin Hermaning, didn't you tell me somebody endorsed him today?
Social media from time to time, Mr.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mr. Romaine Quinn.
Which really surprises me that he endorsed Hermaning and not Alfonso.
He came out and endorsed Kevin Hermaning.
Yeah, because you said to me this morning, you were like,
I agree with Romaine Quinn on.
Absolutely.
And I went after him hard over ranked choice voting.
And Kevin was at the Pizza Ranch on last Friday night, before convention.
And I heard he was there for quite a while.
If I remember correctly, not quite the whole time, but pretty much the whole time. I'm waiting for.
They're red, so
about 2 hours. That's what they said.
So he toughed it out, and he listened to the concerns of the patriots that were in attendance. And folks, for those of you who aren't familiar, the first night of the convention, The Patriots had an off-site meeting. The Patriots are the We the People
We the people.
They had an off-site meeting at a local pizza ranch, and there were, I don't know what the attendance was. Oh my gosh, I have the hiccups.
Well,
I
at least you're not choking like you were last week.
I don't know what the attendance was, but I saw some pictures and there were a lot of people there.
Right. So
And-
I'm really
and so-
shocked that he
So-
endorsed him,
So
Kevin.
I give any candidate credit for showing up and sitting there for
About
2 hours
50 people.
listening to the people, air their concerns.
Hmm.
That means something to me.
Hermaning had a strong presence, RJ says. So, yeah, that's right. You were there too.
RJ was at convention?
No, at the pizza ranch. But there was approximately 50 people there. So, I will give him credit for that. So that
I
would,
had a post from her today.
I didn't see her.
Oh.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with Jenny or Scott.
You were agreeing with Jenny about me?
Yeah.
See?
I like your
Well-
comment. I like your comment on the Republican Party, Polk County, Wisconsin post.
Oh, yeah,
Thing.
I haven't gotten back to respond to anybody yet. I'll probably do that later.
So do you want to share that comment?
Or the
the
post.
the post, the situation, Michelle?
Well, just with their slate of nominees. Well, just with their slate of nominees coming out, it seems like all the counties are posting it and pumping it up, and it just kind of made me sick to see it. And on our just putting it out there, not that anybody cares what I'm voting, but if anyone wants to ask me questions, individually what I think of each of those candidates, I'll be happy to share with them. So I don't want people to be blindly going into things voting just because the Republican Party tells them to.
No, and we should
Absolutely.
never fall victim to that, and that's part of the problem. We should
Absolutely.
never fall victim to that, and that's part of the problem. We are up against the hour. I hear music, so I'm sure the conversation will continue in the backstage. Boy, this music is really loud. Or is it just me?
You're the one with the controls, so
Yeah, you know me.
technical difficulty. Technical. What did you say, Catherine? Well, she just technically said technical, maybe.
Yeah.
So folks, we are up against the hour. We're not going to run long tonight.
No.
We're going to stick to our hour. But the conversation will continue. We've got a nice group of people in the backstage, and I've got some chores that I have to tend to.
Oh, gee. Yeah.
It's garbage night because I didn't do that earlier.
Yeah, because we were running down to Sheboygan. So,
And to Green Bay and Sheboygan. And,
well, Green Bay, Sheboygan, yeah.
in any event, but the conversation will continue. And it could go a couple hours, could go longer. Red, tomorrow night you and I are going to talk about our trip to the Devil's
Punch Bowl.
And it's sure to be
Our first stop.
it's sure to be a good conversation.
Yeah, because I'm very, well, I want to say I'm very familiar with it because I grew up in that area and I went there several times as a teenager in high school. But the myths that
Don't spill the
I'm not
beans.
going to say the myths that, and I can't even say it, that I read on the internet about it was something completely different than what I,
Of course we will. That'll be tomorrow night with Tin Hat Thursday. Come on back and join us to learn about the Devil's Punch Bowl and America's 250, Wisconsin's best.
yes.
We're the best of Wisconsin, and we're going to be lucky enough to be with Harry Waite down in Kenosha, the opposite side of the state.
Absolutely. On Friday.
For our next stop. And AJ the Rippin' Rabbit will be back with another, forget, on Sunday mornings, not aired. It's a backstage event only. We have 2 or more gathering,
At 10:30 a.m.
10:30 a.m. If you
Oh,
don't
10:30, yeah.
if
sorry.
you don't have a church that you go to regularly and you want to worship with some good people in the backstage. And so we are deep in the Word and having great discussions, and it's a great way to kick off Sundays.
Absolutely.
10:30 a.m.
Let's stop wasting it, everyone.
If you're listening on YouTube or Rumble and you want to be part of the conversation, there's still
Click the
time to
link.
jump on over. All right, have a good night, folks.